I've got nobody watching us at the moment, but I've got us going live.
Is this a loopy? Yep.
Loop-de-loop. Alright. There we go. Right. Yes, we have a purpose. What is the purpose? We don't know. Nobody's in there yet, so I'm just rambling to myself. But yeah, I just want to head to the south side. We can go do that. Adventure. Probably forgot to turn off data.
Oops.
Or not the data, but the Wi-Fi. I was trying to connect to something. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright. Hi, Ryan. Thank you for sharing. We're doing okay. Look, there's a house decorated for Halloween.
Very nicely done. These guys do a lot during the holidays.
Yeah, they do a lot during the holidays. They have a pretty good display.
Like all the skeletons.
Yeah, that's true. There's less traffic at night. Unfortunately, not a lot of houses decorate for Halloween, but the children decided that they wanted to fall asleep, so Joe and I decided, well, the one thing we can do together that doesn't require skills that neither of us kind of have is we can go for a drive and maybe share some scary stories with y'all. For those of you who didn't see them 2 years ago?
Right.
Last year? I don't know.
I think it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago. It's been a while. Hi, Pete. Welcome to trying to fill time and come up with a live last minute because children decided to be silly.
Yeah, our Funkin' Bowling took a slight hiatus due to the fact that half the participants are sleeping.
It will be rescheduled to some. Cannot do it Thursday because, excuse me. Thursday the girl is going to the movies. No, maybe next week. We'll see. No, next Tuesday we can't do it either because we're going to the movies.
Right.
Maybe next Thursday. It'll get moved.
It'll get moved. It'll go somewhere.
It'll go somewhere. That, and we've got Pumpkin Chunkin', the mini version, coming up. That will probably be week 3 or 4. Luckily, Halloween has 5 weeks, so we're just gonna take them all. We've also got ideas to paint some ghosts. We have to buy paint and ghosts. That's about as our plans go currently. We do have other ideas for next year, but we have to buy supplies because they're going to cost a little bit more, and we currently don't have supplies.
There's some coming up.
Yeah, there is some coming up. Hi, Nolly.
Oh, that's a nice display there.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I like the big snake in the back.
Yes. The green ghost.
The green ghost. And some randomish lights. Well, my Christmas lights here never bothered to take down.
Right. Like those.
Like those. Yep. Those are probably up all year. And they plug them in. Well, they have some orange ones, so maybe those are partially almost like Thanksgiving lights.
Those ones you could dial, either red and white for Christmas or orange and green for Halloween, and red, white, blue for Independence Day.
Those are usually more LED
right
style, or the flashy kind. What was that?
Trying to keep from sneezing.
No, I forgot about the stupid
Smoke in the air.
smoke in the air.
Do got to give a shout out to the firemen out in Wyoming. Right now they're fighting the elk fire. Last time I heard, it's 73,000 acres over by Sheridan, Wyoming. They are putting up a heck of a fight, though. They finally got 10% of it contained to try to stop the further east it can go. The only problem is that the west, south, and north are into the Bighorn Mountains. So hopefully they can continue to fight that valiantly and not lose any more buildings.
I swear half the country's on fire.
Yeah. Idaho, no. Idaho is one of those states that, well, then again, I mean, you've got like 17 different sets of mountains in one state. It's not a flat state at all. I'm surprised they can grow potatoes there.
Right. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Susan.
But yeah, the last time they showed a national picture of fires, big red section. That's Idaho. Not good. Of course, usually California's got a pretty good bonfire going, but surprisingly enough, they are out right now.
You mean they don't have a fire right now?
I haven't seen
They must
one.
be jealous of all the other states who are on fire. I only remember, I know it's been a few weeks, but I just remember one day you pulled up a fire map and it was like half the country was on fire.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay,
course,
I guess we're just going to go down the flames.
The thing that surprised the heck out of me was when they had
Hi, Crystal.
they had one guy down in Pringle. Now, granted, he is only accused. He is not convicted yet. And he pled not guilty to starting 9 fires.
I still say firebug.
Firebug.
At you.
He's like, it's not arson, honest. Yeah, what do you call it then? Trying to roast marshmallows with most of the county?
Uh-huh.
Yeesh. Especially when you set fire to a cemetery. Why are you setting fire to a cemetery?
Deer is definitely a concern, Crystal. We don't see a ton in the city, but I will say we do see them occasionally.
Yeah.
And so that is a very valid thing, especially when we're out of the city and we're coming back into the city. We have to be very aware of deer.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we've only been sort of run into one by one. That's what happened to that mirror right there.
Yeah, he actually ran into us. Normally, jump in front of the car, bang. This one actually ran into the side of our car and knocked the mirror out. Of course, he probably went off laughing, going, I got one. But, yeah, that happened outside of Kadoka, interestingly enough.
Some of the footage is kind of choppy. It might be because I keep moving the camera. I see it get pixelated when I move the camera. I will try to not move it quite so much. But I'm just trying to show different sites, and yeah, it does get kind of pixelated when I move, so I will try not to do that too much.
Does she want to see some deer? I bet I know where they're at.
I'm probably at the cemetery.
Well, cemetery, that place up on Sheridan Lake Road, and then there's a place back here on St. Pat.
Oh, that's true.
You see, they're just out walking down the street. One time it was funny, after I was bringing the kids home, and it's so funny, they were walking right down the street. And I was like, what's the person doing? It wasn't a person, it was 4 deer. 2 big ones and 2 little guys. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
You're going to do whatever you want to. You can roam south side, you can roam north side. We're mostly just driving and seeing what there is to see.
Couple of orange lights.
Couple orangey lights. Maybe tell you some spooky stories if we think of some. Most I can tell you about Southside is that I've lived here before. It has drainage ditches that are safe for modern warfare.
Interestingly enough, a week after the 72 flood, 2 people died in one of those trenches, as they call it the Mead River. A week after, they had a really heavy rain that came through, and it actually flooded that channel, and a car swept into it. The only 2 people that died that day was 2 people that were trapped in a car that went into that ditch.
That's fun.
The one thing that always did kind of make me, when I've been studying the history, God forbid.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Historians study history.
South Side, originally out by the Robbinsdale area, was where the Lakota would originally settle whenever they would come to visit Rapid City. And they would set up their tents out in that area. And then Robbinsdale didn't really get developed until later. Well, one of the stories that we have is there's a house on St. James.
Right.
And we were actually contemplating buying the thing because the history behind it is just awesome. The guy that lived there in his heyday was to develop all these houses on West Boulevard. West Boulevard was at that time kind of the rich-to-do neighborhood.
It's still kind of the
cool.
rich-to-do neighborhood.
Yeah. But a lot of the houses now are what I call honeycombed.
Yeah, unfortunately, West Main is not, or not West Main.
West Boulevard.
West Boulevard. It's not as upscale as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, the big problem that they ran into is that the city wanted to keep raising the property taxes, and eventually the people that lived there would get old, and their family didn't want to stay at the houses anymore.
Look, there's the city, people. Beautiful side of the city.
Yeah. A long light, and all the way out to the base.
City lights. This is one of my favorite views, I have to say, is seeing the city.
When you come back from like Denver and you come back on 79, you wait to see this view, and you're just like, I'm home.
Oh.
But what's wound up happening is that these houses, they'll wind up getting sold to realtors who will then turn it into 5 or 6 apartments. And when they have gutted it, then they'll rent them out to college students or low-income people. And that way they can make their money back on their investment. We knew one guy who had a place that we lived in. And at one time it was 3 bedrooms. Of course, the downside was that it constantly was flooding.
Right.
And we had a problem with wildlife coming into the house. Although, granted, we did get 5 degrees studying for colleges at the house. But eventually we just couldn't live there anymore. There was just too many things going wrong with one house. So we said, we're good. We wound up moving from there up to Southern Cross. That's where we started the chain of living in apartments. And then you look straight and see what's known as the downtown corridor.
We're currently on 8th Street. This is Cruiserville. If you're a teenager, this is where you hang out.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's where all the restaurants are.
Yeah. You come up here, you do a loop around through McDonald's, and then turn around and go right back down by where the tennis courts used to be. Now they've been turned into bocce court, which
we call it the lower turnaround.
LTO. Yeah.
LTO.
Or LTA, actually.
LTA. I was going to say LTO. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
Lower turnoff.
And we went over there today. You'll see that video sometime in the future. When in the future, I'd say 3 or 4 months. Every time I worry about videos, I have to look at it and I'm like, oh, we're fine. We have plenty of videos.
Yeah, we're slowly trying to restack our video supply, because some weeks it's been creative. Some weeks it'll be funny. We'll get 3 or 4 videos and we'll just be jumping for joy. And then there's some weeks where we'll only squeeze out 1 and you're like, ugh.
And then because it's been a very rough October, I was worried, but I had to ask Joe. I went and I counted them, and I told him, what I told you to tell me when I told you that we need to get out and videotape. Hi, Casey. I told him we had like 20 in the backlog, so we're okay. I just need to learn to breathe. But sometimes it feels like we're like so close to what we're currently doing that there's not enough videos to fill the gap. But there's plenty. I just have to learn to breathe. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I don't worry at all, but lately it's just been like, of course, it's been so crazy lately. We haven't been able to do as much.
Right, especially with the girl with her new job and having to make sure we get back in time to take her to work.
Now, adding a third working body in the family has been creative.
And Thursday, I will actually have a new job of interest. I will be taking care of David full time.
David, or Daddy, will finally be David's caregiver.
I'm certified as a med aid, so I can give drugs.
Where you're going to be his, what is it called?
Home care provider.
Home care provider. Yeah, so Joe will be a home care provider starting Thursday, maybe, hopefully. I don't know what we're doing. Nobody knows what we're doing. Not even they know what they're doing because it's a new program.
Yeah,
we're the pioneers of this program.
Yeah. We're literally the fresh launch of this program in South Dakota because the way that they said it, and it's kind of accurate, we could do it, or they could spend $120,000 a year giving it to Black Hills Works. Okay, this is part of the ultra rich part of the thing, and they still live in these great big huge houses. I'm going to circle down and then come back up.
As you can see, it's got its own little sign. It says West Boulevard Historical
District.
Thank you.
Yep.
I almost said society, and I'm like, that's not right.
Now, when Halloween comes around, every one of these houses is giving out candy, and I mean, I'm not talking the little fun size. I'm talking full size.
This is the best place to do Halloween candy if you're going to do it door to door.
Yeah.
Even as a teenager, we hit this block.
Yeah, because these places, they would give out. It's full. Three Musketeers, suckers. Here, have a handful. But that's the thing that always made this kind of the Grand Central for. Of course, I think some of the dentists live up here too.
Oh, I'm sure.
One thing also interesting is that there is a albino squirrel that lives in these trees.
We're going to find him one of these days.
Yeah, we'll get a shot of him. He's really cute.
I mean, every time we come down this road, I look for him.
Yeah.
I want to do a little short of him if we can find him.
Yeah. Interview the squirrel. There's some more lights on.
I just want to see the squirrel.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Julie.
Well, yeah, see, what they've done with some of these houses that's kind of crazy is that you'll see that when you go down the alley, because all of a sudden, instead of having one power box, there'll be like 6. And it's because every room in the place is another apartment. And they might share, 2 bathrooms among 6 apartments, but, depending on how many people live there. When we got our place on Kansas City, that we actually wound up being able to take control of all 3 floors, all 3 rooms. And the downstairs was where the kids got to play and talk to the ghosts. Upstairs was where me, Angel, and Sue would live. And it wasn't a bad situation. The only thing that I didn't care much for is that I hated the downstairs because I'm not a fan of bugs. Angel would probably love it down there right now. But she loves anything alive.
Eventually it grew mushrooms, and I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah, that's
enough.
That and the waterfall down the stairs was kind of crazy too, because they couldn't figure out how to stop the water, and by the time they were done it, they were literally digging a trench around the basement and tarring. There's a little red
I see that.
Yeah. But we lived at that place, what was it, about 7 years? 6 or 7?
5 or 6. It might have been 7, but I don't know. Because we started, I think we moved there shortly before I started working at the center. Yeah. And I worked at the center for 5 years. And we stayed there a couple years after, so maybe you're right, maybe it was closer to 7. It was 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting structures. And this is from what I remember when I actually did some of the tours. This corner house here this was called the O'Hara House. He was the president of the School of Mines and Technology, one of the professors. He also was on the city council, and so he had a lot of money and power and prestige. And we actually got to tour that house.
God, I wish I could have.
That one there was always kind of interesting because I was always covered in vine.
And down there in the alley, that's the house we lived in.
Yep.
Crazy little house.
Crazy little house. Up here.
Hey, bring it.
Well, White House
Jocelyn?
is one of David's teachers. Lives there. I think she still does.
Maybe. She might have moved.
Yeah.
Who knows?
This is a halfway house, which was kind of an interesting structure. They loved buying Girl Scout cookies up.
Yeah.
And then there was the old lady that lived the next block up, which is both neat but also sad because A, she lost her husband and then she lost her son in the same year. This big house here, this was the Sweeney house. Now, Sweeney, interestingly enough, he also had one of the first general stores in Rapid City. And so he, sold everything from saddles to car parts to feed, just all sorts of things. Thanks to one of my jobs, I actually got to go walk around inside that place. It's huge. After the one family that owned it tried to turn it into a retirement home, they wound up, this couple from out of state bought it. But a lot of these houses here, these were put in about 1920, 1930. And this one guy who lived up on James was kind of the all-in-one decorator designer for these houses. He had all of the displays. Oh, speaking of deer.
Hello, Mr. Deer.
There's two of them.
There's a deer.
Hi.
Hi, my hero.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, there's a deer. Hi. Yeah, we see you.
Hi, hi.
There's one.
Hello.
Although we can't see you guys yet.
There it
There he goes. There they go.
Hi, hi.
Yeah, we see you. So yeah, they wander around through downtown.
Yep.
I hate streets like this where people park on both sides.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of a narrow. But what this guy would do is that every room in his house was kind of a display of what sort of doorknobs you had, what sort of windows you could order in. If you wanted a regular door, you could use a regular door. If you wanted one that was sliding, he had those styles. Just all sorts of different components. And so if you were going to build a house, you'd go tour his house. And then he could, give you a schematic on what all was up in the neighborhood. Now, this big building here, this is the old St. John's. This was the second hospital we had here in Rapid. The first primary one was over off of Mount Rushmore Road. And actually, this is the third one. The second one is over there. The first one was actually back in the Gap. And it was 8 rooms. And there was a porch out there, a deck, that, when you're suffering from tuberculosis, they just set you out there so you could get your son. But the second floor was for pediatrics, me. And I remember it quite vividly because I think it was this building that they had to try 8 times to get an IV started on me.
Yeah.
Was not fun. But it's also a place that sometime, if we ever get a chance to, I don't know how hard it would be to, but I would love to do a session inside.
Oh, I would love to. Especially the other part, the old other section.
Yeah. Because one of the things that I do remember from the layout, and we'll go through the alley here real quick, is the main section over here was where the rooms and patients stayed. The middle section was kind of the nurses' wing and where the ambulance would drop people off. Laundry was back here, and the emergency room was over here. And of course, me being an asthmatic, I saw the emergency room too many times. Now, for those of you who've played Zelda before, you see this discolored wall? You know there's something behind that wall. There's a little vent area there. And see, here's where the ambulances would come and deploy for first aid, emergency room visits.
And see this area right here, because they mostly use this for storage.
Yeah, this right here.
This is where I would love to go.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you can feel the energy right here.
Well, one time I saw an arm come out. And I'm like, okay, that creeps me out, but I know something is like, hey, I know you can see this. Come here a sec. I want to show you. But, yeah, of course, the old ambulance was right there, too. Somebody's turned it into a camper, which is kind of cool.
Kind of weird and cool and weird.
But one of these buildings up here is also kind of interesting because it's the former nurses' quarters. And where the president for the hospital. Now, this hospital here was kind of interesting for two facts. A, it was set up as a, kind of the nurses' training area, because right across the street is where their university is. And so it kind of served both purposes. Now, we go back up this way.
Wow. Hi, Ian. Please don't flood emotions.
There's a house with green on the deck. Some of these houses, though, when they do Halloween, they do awesome.
They do awesome.
There was one house that had a great big spider.
Oh, yes.
On the front, scared the hell out of the girl. I think that finished her for Halloween. And like I said, a lot of these houses, the way Rapid City developed, interestingly enough, this over here was what used to be known as the hay camp. Because when they would bring in wagon trains downtown, the animals would, disembark. They would park them out here, and that's where they would get their feed and stuff before they would, either A, head up to Deadwood, or B, head back out to Fort Pierre.
Hey, Benny.
They would usually use those runways, as we'd call them, the old-fashioned highway trails, 3 times a week. And they would bring in supplies, they'd bring in food. With the people that settled Rapid City, these were people that either had tried to do Deadwood and couldn't make a go of it, or they were going to later on go out and try Deadwood. They figured, now that we know there's a place that they could get their supplies
and their goods,
come on down. Yeah. But also of interest, this is one of our fun stories. Story time. One of the people that was part of the South Dakota senators group in Pierre wanted to build an addition on his house up here. And so he, got a builder's permit, went out, started digging out a basement, hit a body.
Whoops.
A synagogue.
There we go.
And interestingly enough, the synagogue's bell is still up here by one of these houses. They kept the bell.
I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah. Well, it turns out the body that he had hit was a former pauper cemetery.
Oops.
And yeah, somebody had forgotten to take the graves out. And so I think there was maybe 2 or 3 that were dug up. But yeah, it's just like, oh, hello. But see, all these places up here, these are millionaires. One of the guys that lives up here is the guy that invented the Strider bike. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting is, like we were talking about with the tax codes and stuff like that, because a lot of these houses, on the further end, down at the bottom of the hill, they couldn't be afforded. A lot of the people moved out to Sheridan Lake Road.
Right.
Which is another, location of millions. But once you got, past these points. But yeah, all these houses up here And the neighborhood goes up and over. It's just all these. If you have money, you could build up there. All you had to do is get some guy to sign off on the permits. One of my buddies, sadly, was a engineer for the city. He wound up getting blackballed because he would not sign off on a blueprint. And they told him, well, I guess your job is not secure here. So he wound up taking his family, going out to California.
Woo!
Yeah. And I guess they did a lot better out there because South Dakota is kind of the poor man's neighborhood. They don't pay hardly anything out here. Of course, it's changed a lot since of COVID. You know, there's a lot more places that are trying to offer $15 an hour, stuff like that.
Finally.
For the longest time, if it was minimum wage, that's about how much you could make. I went through 3 years at Arby's making $8 an hour. I would never go back.
No.
I mean, granted, I love the job. I love the people I worked with. I love the camaraderie. But I didn't like being punished. Ooh, it's got
Pretty
a cool,
lights.
House set.
Yeah.
I like their fence.
I like their fence.
The
You can jump
deck.
on the fence.
Yeah.
I don't
And there's
see
a little St. John's Church.
decorations for Halloween, but the ones you do are usually pretty good.
There's one big bunch on St. Pat that I remember at that one corner. We'll go down there next.
Hey, Helga.
Bounce, bounce, bounce.
How's it going? Almost thought that was an old person. It's not.
It's adult.
It's not. But the way the shadow was dancing, it kind of looked like a robe or one of those old sweaters blowing in the breeze.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't.
It was.
My imagination is vivid, which is why I don't do scary movies.
You already don't sleep enough. What are you talking about?
Right? Exactly. I don't need any help not sleeping.
Missed 2 hours of sleep last night.
Oh, I did not sleep well last night.
Here's
need to buy some more,
section of lights and some ornaments.
You see that? Need to buy some more stuff.
Oh wow,
That's cool.
you got a lot of stuff in
That
that
is.
yard.
That is pretty cool.
This is kind of the one of the major intersections. That was 5th Street. This is St. Pat. St. Pat will take you all the way out and eventually hooks up with 44, which will take you into the Badlands. And like everything
My
else,
brain was like to the valley.
Valley's out there too. As you can tell, we have our season of cone season right now.
Look, it's road destruction. They're playing with their cones.
Yes, how's the lineup?
Does your city play with cones? Our city loves to play with cones.
Yes.
Are they actually doing anything? No. As
No.
you can see, they're not doing jack shit.
No.
They are just playing with their cones.
They like to play with the cones.
The cones are up.
Holy cones.
They are not actually doing anything.
Nope.
I love you too, Misha. Look at this. They're just playing with their cones. I want some cones to play with.
There's a
Will
barrel.
somebody send me some cones to play with?
Do they have a barrel of monkey or a monkey of barrels?
I want a monkey of barrels.
Cool.
Hi, Johnny.
Who's Johnny? She said. Oh, sorry.
You're weird
people
today.
working on a trunk.
Oh,
There's a few lights by the garage.
Yeah,
and
that sounds not
couple
too
stick
bad.
Figures.
not too bad. Here's another one over here. We got a little ghosty figure
Yeah.
in there.
Ghosty ghost. With a star.
His star. Speaking of ghosts, on Thursday we will be doing some paranormal stuff. We have an idea.
Got a few locations to investigate.
We've been talking it over because the girl is working and we have to do something to fill that hour. So you guys are going to be entertained.
Are you not entertained? No.
By us pretending to be ghost hunters.
Oh yes, the UFO and the
This
aliens.
this one is so cute. I love this.
I love the
Look
cow
at
inside.
this little corner here.
Yes.
I don't know if you can even see the cow, but you can see the aliens.
Yep. Cow getting tractor beamed. Zoot.
That one's so much fun.
Yep.
The crankiest church in the city,
Yes.
right there.
Crankyville.
They're so cranky. I try not to judge churches, let them do with their own things, but they were mean to us.
Yeah. Or I guess later on somebody did approach our group and said, no, it's not normal what this guy did, and said, you guys are welcome to come back and you can come inside if you wanted to. But
ooh, let's go inside.
yes.
I want to poke around. Not that it looks like an interesting old church, but
Yeah. Interestingly enough, over there, that building, if I remember right, at one time it was an Ace Hardware.
Oh, interesting.
And then along here, there used to be a drive-in movie theater.
I think I really remember that. We were in there earlier today.
Yep.
We're poking around.
Pokey. And here's the bowling alley.
You have a good visit with your son, Misha. There's your bowling alley.
Bully.
And I grew up living right behind this building right here. I used to walk to this building all the time. There was like a little candy shop in the back. And like the creepiest hallway ever. And this is where the haunted guy, the ghost man, disappeared. The story actually takes place on the street behind this building.
I'll give you a spin back there. Give me a sec.
I'll tell you the story if those idiots are able to get over there. Dollar Tree, I know where was not there when I was there. They had a little store that was in this area somewhere. I want to say down here somewhere. And that was a coolest little store, little restaurant, drive-in place. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is my old stomping grounds. I spent most of middle school on the street. That has been a empty lot, well, kind of a construction lot forever. Yeah. That's my neighbors. It was an older couple. I played with the kid there. This is my old house. They took out the little fire thingies, but right here at this corner, my sister and I were sitting in that window there. We watched him walking down the street, and he disappeared right here at this corner. And as you can see all the way down the street. So if he had turned, we would have seen it either direction. But he was gone. He was there, and then he was gone. Poofers. As Joe says, poofers. And so that's kind of a cool little story. And we used to sneak in back there, because that's how you get into the back of this building. There's a door there. I can't really see the door here from here, but that's okay. You can't see that one. Can't see that door.
Now, a couple of the things that also date back into history of Rapid. When we were first starting out as a town, they tried to concentrate on.
Here's one of the many trenches I was telling you guys about.
Yep, this is what's known as the Big River.
I don't even know if you can even see that. Kind of see it.
Because there's a concrete channel over here, and then the grassy channel over here. But during the flooding seasons, this thing would be completely underwater. And I've seen pictures of it, and you're like going, "Oh, this looks like."
I remember when we lived on the street, and if you got a good rainy season, that creek would fill out very quickly.
They had a couple people.
Of course,
died.
It doesn't help that they don't trim it, and it's always full of
weeds and debris,
trees and debris and all kinds of things.
But if I remember, I think he came off the bridge over here, and the car fell in there during the flood.
Interesting.
And they drowned in the car. But what's interesting is that back in those early days, Rapid City actually built a series of these ditches. And the ditches were designed to channel water down.
Here's a good, well, that's the road. Let's get a shot of it.
Yeah, right here.
Look at, that's how deep, those things are like, what, 3 or 4 feet deep?
Yeah.
You can see it pretty well right there.
Yep.
There you go. Now you can see it.
But what they did is that they had dug these ditches, and the idea was that it would outflow the water for the farmers. one of the most famous ones, interestingly enough, is the Hawthorne. And it's over by the fairgrounds. Interestingly enough, it actually goes all the way from the fairgrounds out to close to where you used to work in the valley. And there was the Hawthorne. There was the... I'm trying to remember some of the other ones that there were. There was like 5 of them.
I have no idea.
And,
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah.
Denver Girl Scout office. Or at least it used to be the Girl Scout office. I don't know if they're still in there or not.
I think they are.
We had an interesting couple of years with those.
Angel had vivid memories and some not so vivid memories.
The first 2 years were good. The third year, things just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
So, life happens.
Smoker. Thanks, bright there, dude.
Whoosh. That was a little bright. Sorry. I hope nobody's blinded by the lights.
Of course, the one time that was interesting down here is that, the railroad still goes down this line here. It takes it all the way up to Belfouche, goes all the way down to Shattern. But during the 72 flood, some people actually wound up spending the night on the tracks because it was a high point.
That's not the high point.
For these people down here, it is.
That hill over there is bigger than this height.
Well, they couldn't exactly go hike up there either.
What about?
Uh-huh. Because in the middle of a downpour...
You just climb the mud.
Good luck.
Are you saying you can't climb the mud?
No.
Why not?
Because I would slide back down. Repeatedly.
This guy get good, dude.
Oh.
Get good.
Oh. That and down through here, of course, they had lost numerous trailers. Because all this down here used to be a trailer park. And when the floodwaters hit it, well, the trailers started floating and running into each other. And that was all trailers right down here.
This is the polo field, which is not used very often. I don't think I've ever seen anybody play polo on it. But Joe did see them do...
Looked like rugby.
Rugby? Thank you. My brain went blank. And we've seen them do a few other things, mostly in the parking lot.
Of course, I think they finally retired the idea of doing polo in that one field, and they turned it into a soccer field.
If it's a soccer field, it does not have nets the way the other soccer fields in town do.
Yeah.
And the ones in Deadwood and Lee have.
Yeah. Then again, that one way up there has a fence around it too, so...
I'm saying it doesn't have
Yeah.
the goalposts like the other ones do. Doesn't mean that isn't what they were trying to do. It just means... Gates open again.
Yay. Also, lots of bright lights.
Yes, they always... This is the fairgrounds. It's kind of weird when it's empty. Because they do have a lot of bright lights.
If I remember right, I did see a picture one time, though. They showed an office building over here.
Huh.
And they tore that out after the flood, apparently. Almost reminded me of Garfield School, the way it looked.
Right?
Of course, we saw one time up here that was absolutely the height of stupidity. And they were having a book sale. And because people were buying the books, they started throwing them in a dumpster. I'm like, you idiots.
I miss those book sales. They haven't done them in a few years.
Yeah. Not since COVID, I don't think.
No, definitely not since COVID.
Yeah.
Those were fun book sales.
Yeah.
I miss them.
Right there.
Yep, right there in that building.
The Fine Arts building of the Central States Fair.
Oh, I am getting a cold. My throat hurts.
Uh-oh.
Part of it's also the stupid smoke in the air, but my throat hurts. This is a very haunted area. This one and way up here at the top of the hill.
Yeah. Because down there used to be some houses. Up through here, there were houses.
This is also the stinkiest plot on the neighborhood. No, not this one.
The next one up.
It's the next one up.
Although it's also interesting because they went back about, I think, 20 years ago, and they forced all these trailers to move. And guess what they put up?
What
Private buildings.
People are weird.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about this lot right here, but it smells so bad.
Yeah, it's like sewage or something.
It's just like sewage or something. It's so bad.
Yeah. Of course, maybe they finally capped it because of that apartment building over there. You could hope.
Maybe. We haven't had the windows down in this area in a while, but I just know.
Yeah, for a while there.
For a while there, it was just like, oh.
Somebody's got an open sewage.
Yeah, I don't want to see any of the coverage of the storms. I have. It's a terrible situation, but hi, face.
This right here is one of the haunted spots of Rapid. This is
I would love to do a session here, but you really can't hang out here.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
Yeah. What they did was, after the flood, this was one of the places where they used to dump debris.
Hi, Jody.
And, parts of buildings, all sorts of debris. They would bulldoze, crush, and then they would, bury it in these big open areas. One of the areas on the other side of town, interestingly enough, is now a park, which I can just imagine the kids digging. Don't dig. You don't know what you're going to find,
Right.
But there's that area, and then there again is other places where you can see trenches where there was some drainage. And of course, up here we've got the East North Street area. That's another one of the busier parts of the town.
Yep. No, East North is one of the busiest streets ever. I used to work on there at Taco Bell. And this is another busy road. As you can see, hi Wesley. I got the hiccups. And the sniffles.
So, mommy's falling apart.
I am. I'm falling apart. I blame you.
You blame me.
Yep. Why? Mostly because I can.
I see. And another one of the more famous trailer parks, because this place has always been a trailer park.
Always been a trailer park.
Always.
That is very true. And then here's Runnings.
Where the girl gets her birdseed.
And the girl gets her birdseed.
Actually, this building here is kind of funny because it's been 3 different big box buildings.
Right?
It was our original Walmart.
Right.
Then it became Sam's Club.
That lasted not long.
Yeah, and now it's a Runnings.
Runnings had the longest, I think.
I think so too.
I don't know how long Walmart had it before they moved.
Yeah. And there's a Walmart across the street. And then Sam's Club is directly behind Walmart over the one road. Yeah.
This is what we call the
Lacrosse
Street.
Yep. Lacrosse is kind of one of the major thoroughfares because it's got a bunch of businesses. Hey, they got the mini golf open.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. It's late in the year for the mini golf to be open.
Well, they don't have the lights on either. They must have just turned them off.
Maybe. We will be doing mini golf one of these days.
Oh, it's awesome there.
It is fun in there. Yeah. It's also very dangerous.
Yes.
You should
hit a car.
No. Well, I was thinking about why you shouldn't mini golf with me.
Yeah, I know. Hit a car. Windshield, clunk.
I'm control my energy.
Your aiming skills.
We used to spend a lot of time at that Perkins.
At 2 in the morning.
At 2 in the morning. They had the best host at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, the guy
was
awesome.
So awesome.
Yeah, that's one of those guys. If you could keep him and just work with him, that would be the guy I would build a business around. He was that good.
Hey, John.
He had a great sense of humor. He was upbeat. I think he wound up going to Iowa.
I think so.
Smart guy.
He was such a good guy. They would go, long shifts without sleeping. So we were doing weird things at 2 o'clock in the morning. We used to let them run around Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning back when they did 24 hours or were open 24 hours.
And the crew knew us, and they knew him. And so they'd be like, looking for David? Yeah, he went that way. Okay. And David, it was so funny because he would run the exact same way every single time. And so, people just got used to knowing who David was and, which way he was going.
Right. And David is not really conscious of people, so fortunately at that time there wasn't a lot of people for him to plow over, because he literally would. He is not, if you are in his way, he will just run you over. He's gotten a little bit better about it. We try to encourage him to be aware of people. Unfortunately, he's not super good at it, but we do try.
And then, of course, over here, one thing Rapid City does not have a shortage on is hotels. And it's like every...
Look, there's where Denny's used to be.
Yep, our Denny's is gone.
And then there's one other place back there, the empty restaurant back there.
Boston's.
Boston's, thank you.
Yep.
I don't remember what it's called.
Yep.
We can head home if you want to.
Yep. We'll
loop around.
Back over to 5th and take that whole...
There's Hooby Looby.
And there's where our old...
there's where used to be.
Yep.
Now it's a sporty place.
Black Hills Motorsports. Yep.
There's the Golden Ticket, which Angel is going to on Thursday to see Terrifier 3 because she's a weird child. On Friday, we will be going to see... what are we going to see? My brain went blank.
Joker?
No, Night Before Christmas.
Oh, gotcha.
She's paying for it.
Ah.
We're going to see Joker on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Next Tuesday. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm telling you that, and never mind. I am tired. I know.
Tired.
I know what I'm talking about. Don't pay any attention to me. I know exactly what I'm doing. Don't ask me any questions though, because I obviously do not know what I'm talking about.
Yes, the tree cutter architecturist.
I didn't know that they had a booth up here.
Yep.
That must be new.
Just a bit.
Noisiest
restaurant ever.
Restaurant ever, and not worth the wait or the cost. We ate there once for his mom's birthday, and we were in the waiting area for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I will eat there. They are awesome sauce.
Yep.
Although I do miss their dippy. And we ate there. They have the best donuts ever. I want donuts.
That place is awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Olive Garden is great.
Hi, my folk.
Maybe it's because of redneck low country, but it's still excellent food. I love their pasta, their shrimp, their donuts, their salads, their breadsticks. Their soups are awesome.
Their breadsticks are so good. Their soups are great. Their soups are the best.
Yeah. That's a place you go and you're going to get 3 courses and you're going to take 2 of them home.
Right? We always always end up taking some home, which I think is great.
Yeah. But our mall is kind of interesting because it first started about 1980. It's been through about 5 owners. Originally, when it was built, it had JCPenney, Sears, and a place called Herberger's. Then Target was added. Target closed and moved out to what's now known as the Rushmore Crossing.
I call it.
And turned into kind of a glorified rummage sale because some of those people just love that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I agree. I don't know why Spirit of Halloween is a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't be super busy all year, but a lot of that stuff is very popular all year round.
Applebee's is a good place
Applebee's, the yellow.
I love their Asian chicken salad that they have.
I want to do that again sometime.
Yeah.
All right, and then there's the Bridges of Stupidity.
Our I-90 corridor, which is, like they said, that way goes out to Washington State. That side goes out to Boston, Massachusetts. Lots of concrete. Of course, what was interesting is I was reading about 6 months ago, and they were talking about the idea of taking out some of the overpasses because they felt that they didn't want to maintain the maintenance on them anymore.
Right.
And some of the smaller towns are going, wait a second, can we talk about this?
No.
Because, some of those towns actually need those overpasses.
No.
Like New Underwood.
No.
Yes. Sometimes our state is kind of stupid at things like that.
Right.
I mean, look at 385. The reason why they're tearing the heck out of 385 is for the simple fact that some motorcyclists don't know how to handle turns and curves on roads when they're dumb.
There's where Shepko used to be. I'd like to put a learned in there.
Yep.
I would love to.
There's our Taco John's, one of the 3 that we have in town.
That one's not too bad.
Yep.
The one on the west side's better.
Yeah. There's our Maverick, one of our Mavericks.
They just say they have McDonald's.
I think they do. Last time I checked.
Your mom said that they don't have them. They didn't have them the one time she checked.
Right.
They sell out very fast, apparently.
Oh, I believe it.
Plaza, Harbor Freight. We've only been in there once.
I do feel sorry for some of these businesses because, well, some of the wildlife likes to break windows out of places.
Right? We did lose a gas station. No, that was on the over by the library. Not the library, but the mall.
Yeah.
There's a Loongy Mac and a Pizza Hut. And a tattoo place put a lot of thought into their name.
Tattoo. It was all the work done by a short little guy who speaks about the plane.
Me? Never been in there.
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Welcome to Fantasy Island. And related to the people that live there.
Sorta. Some days.
Mama, Papa, and Niles. The Annihilator.
The Annihilator.
Not to be confused with the Annihilator.
I do worry about what your parents will do if Niles ever moves out.
Yeah, I do wonder sometimes about that too.
Because he does a lot for them.
Yes, he does.
He's a good kid, though. Oh.
I could see him either inheriting the house or something to the, because my mom says that they when the plan is that when they pass
they have
on.
a plan. Oh dear.
I know they already screwed that up. That the house will go into me, Niles, and Jim's name. That way, if there's ever a need, we have a place to live.
Right.
Which, is understandable if, there's income to pay the property taxes because...
Right. See, that's the thing. Is the property taxes are like, what, 30? Ain't nada.
$7,000 a year. Which isn't bad. I mean...
No.
It's a lot less than what rent is, but...
Yeah. I do agree that the property tax, but considering how much your mom and dad have to pay for utilities...
Right.
And they have to pay for the plumber, rotary every couple of seasons.
What I seriously think that they need to do there is they need to... there's a number of things that they need to do at that house. Like,
oh yeah,
they need to get the plumbing redone. They need to get that sewer line lined, and then just block off that other house.
Right.
And say, well, if you guys aren't going to solve it, we will.
As we talked about way years ago when we started watching home improvement stores, you just need to tear it down and build it all up again.
Yeah.
It would probably be cheaper than repairing it because it's got old wiring, it's got old plumbing, and we know how much those things cost.
Oh yeah. At least it's not tube and knob like the one place on Kansas City is, though.
That's true. That's true.
We lived on one place in Kansas City that, I kid you not, it was built shortly before the Alex Johnson was. That gives you how old it was. And when my mom and dad's house was being built, what really got crazy was that the landlord went around to other housing projects in the area, and he'd say, "Are you done with this? Do you have any more of the scrap?" And so he would take those pieces and he would use it to build their house.
It was a kit bash, literally.
Yeah. The one time, and I, honest to God, swear this, one time there was a leak, and the plumber came over, and they said, well, where's the leak? He says, well, it's behind here. And so they opened up this panel, and there was 14 elbows just connecting all together. And he took a look at this thing and looked at it some more, and he says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. I'll give you one good strike pipe if you give me all these elbows, and we'll call it good. Okay.
Not only getting things fixed, but
yeah,
weird.
Because then he didn't have to get charged for the labor, and my mom had a straight pipe. But yeah, there's a lot of things about that house that are unique. The thing I always had a vivid memory of, and I never could do it. The theory is that if there was ever a tornado, or heaven forbid, a bomb was going to hit Ellsworth, our bomb shelter would have been behind the toilet under the stairs. I could not get myself to crawl under there. It's just too gross.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Spiders. No thanks. I'm good. I'll die in the bathroom here.
I love your mom and dad, but I could not imagine living in that house again.
No.
First of all, it has space and storage in the most interesting, weird locations.
Yeah.
Like above the damn stairs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's so much stuff in there. And Niles' closet is like the closet to Narnia.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff in there.
Pantryville. Yep.
Your mom has used that for his pantry forever.
Well, the big thing that I remember is, see, we used to live downstairs, and downstairs has got 3 bedrooms. Jim slept in one room, I slept in the other room, and my mom and dad slept in the third one.
Hi, Alan.
What happened?
No, I said hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan. Well, what wound up happening is about, I think it was 84 or 85, we finally started getting the whole house. And I moved upstairs, Jim got the whole downstairs, and my mom and dad moved upstairs. Well, it worked out pretty good for a while. Of course, the thing that was really funny is that for the longest time I was having problems with my asthma. Turns out I was allergic to cats. Once the cats passed on, and we no longer had cats, I no longer had problems with my asthma, which is weird. There's still things that I have an allergic reaction to, though. What's weird is natural Christmas trees will set me off.
Which is why we will never have one.
No, we have fake ones, or we have that small one.
Plus, I like fake ones that last longer.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that. It was kind of nice having a great big room to myself for once. And then once Jim moved out with his girlfriend / wife / girlfriend / ex, long story.
She's complicated.
Yeah. Well, there was more than one complication there too, but
that's why I say she's complicated, because that covers everybody he's ever dated.
Yeah.
I should say they're complicated.
They're complicated. I wound up moving back into the downstairs, and that's where me and Sue lived for a little while until the kids started showing up. And then we tried to go out there to Kimberly, where we ran into the landlord from hell.
I swear, the stupidest, we got kicked out for the stupidest thing.
Fingerprints
On the mirror with 2 children.
Yeah.
Angel was like less than 2 at the time. Of course there are going to be fingerprints on the mirrors. But we didn't pass the inspection because of the fingerprints on the mirrors.
Yeah. So what was so funny was that year we pulled off probably the closest reenactment to an airdrop.
Right?
Because I was going out at 11 o'clock at night, loading stuff into a U-Haul truck, because during the day it was like 90 degrees.
It was very hot. It was August, and it was not not possible to do during the day.
Not conducive. We wound up filing to fight the eviction, and it bought us about 3 months to find another place to move to. And then we moved to Star Village Hill, and that was not bad until some drunk tried to fall through our front door, which was not a very fun experience. Also, Sue started a fire in the oven.
Did not.
Which was right after inspection, which I thought was absolutely hilarious.
How dare you? It's not my fault.
Not your fault?
Not my fault.
Didn't look at the oven.
No.
Just turned it on. Open. Ooh, fire.
Who looks in the oven before they turn it on? There's a reason why we don't cook people.
And then after that, we found a place in Kansas City, and for a long time, the Kansas City place worked out really well. The problems we started running into it was that trying to keep the downstairs dry was not happening.
Right.
We had a yard. This yard, we swear there was bodies under it because the lawn would grow at an exorbitant rate. It just grass everywhere. And one time the city even came over and says, if you don't get this taken care of, we'll mow it. And I said, well, how much will it cost for you guys to mow it?
Right.
And it says, oh, well, give us $30 and we'll mow it for you. Sold. That was also the house that we got to experience the historical snowstorm called Atlas. And it was so funny because I was supposed to go do a volleyball game that week. And the day before, I remember this so vividly because we went to do shopping, and it was raining these big quarter-sized drops of rain, and it was loud, that sort of rain. And we got the groceries at Safeway, we came home, we unloaded the car, and we just waited, and sure enough, about 2 o'clock the next day, click, all of a sudden it just turned to snow. And it just kept snowing. And
I realized we didn't have chicken for the boy.
No, that was the earlier storm.
That was the earlier storm?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when we discovered, let's buy everything we can before the snowstorm hits. That storm was even worse because then I had to go trying to find a place with chicken.
Every time we've not been prepared, we've okay, we're not doing this again. We're going to be prepared. We're not very good with the P words. We're trying to be better being prepared for things that could catch us in the butt.
We had one snowstorm that was so crazy is I thought I'll park my Jeep in the garage. And the snowstorm hit and I couldn't get the garage door open. And by the time I had hiked all the way over to the grocery store, it was closed. So needless to say,
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was so...
I was so unhappy. I was,
unhappy.
God. Not pleased. But this other storm, what was crazy is that I was supposed to go to the Civic Center and watch a volleyball tournament. Well, it snowed so bad that the teams couldn't get to the Civic Center. The teams were trapped at their hotels. And then, I'd look out the back door and you could slowly see the drift rising in the window. And then I went out to the front door and you see the drift slowly filling in the alley. And I'm like, this might be a little more than they think.
What? No.
Now, this is the same snowstorm that it actually made the news for a couple different reasons. A bunch of cattle died. Because at that time of the year, most of the cattle are still out grazing. They're out, wandering in the grass. Well, it snowed so hard and so fast, they died. They couldn't get back to their barns. And what happened here in town that was really sucky, I found out, where our Sam's Club is, out by the valley, the people came to work that day. They parked. Well, by the time the decision came down for them to go home, they couldn't move their cars.
I remember that.
And these poor people, one of the ladies was like 8 months pregnant.
I remember that.
And they
It's
said,
just
well,
so crazy.
if you guys want to hike up the hill to the hotel, we'll let you guys stay at the hotel. You're going to hike a mile in this blizzard, heavy, thick snow, wet snow, uphill, 8 months pregnant. You are out of your tree. Oh, yeah, it was, we lost power for about, what was it, about 2 hours?
2 or 3 hours.
It was a little
and that was
blip.
the last time I was just like, no more. We're
Yeah.
not going without power again.
Now, my brother, who was living out on north side, north of the mall, he actually was without power for 3 weeks because they're just going to get the power. Now, interestingly enough, a week later, 90% of the snow was gone. It had melted. We lost maybe 70% of the trees inside the city because of the way that the snow, it just snapped them. And they had made huge piles of the debris of the downed branches. They had to be careful though because the spontaneous ignition, the piles of wood were just starting to overheat, and they're going to catch on fire, which is understandable.
Right.
Finally got a couple wood chippers to go through and start shredding some of that so people could use it as bedding material and stuff. But yeah, it was a crazy storm. But then after that one, we moved out here to Southern Cross, from there over to La Crosse, and now we are here.
Speaking of which, you want to say goodbye?
We'll say goodbye. Have a good night, folks.
We'll see you next week. No, yes. Today's Thursday. No,
today's Wednesday.
Today's
Tuesday.
This
We
is
don't know what
Thursday.
day of the week it is.
I'm so tired. Good night, guys. I'm going to bed.
Good night.